Many cartoons have hidden meanings that as a kid you just don't pick up on, but as an adult they come more and more obvious. I'm your host as always, K-Mac Time, and today we're going to take a closer look into the episode of Spongebob called Karate Choppers from Season 1.
Wait,
closer look into the episode
fuck?
of SpongeBob
hell no,
Karate
bro.
Choppers
this
from Season 1. And I feel that the early seasons of SpongeBob were packed full of these secret overtones and innuendos as a way to keep parents and older viewers of the show entertained. And now that I'm older, when I watch them, I find the weirdest things buried in the subtext. But anyway, Karate Choppers is actually way dirtier than you'd ever imagine. The whole episode is based around SpongeBob and Sandy doing karate. But if you read between the lines, it becomes very obvious that karate, quote-unquote, is just a metaphor for sex. Don't believe me?
What?
Well, let's take a look at this evidence. The episode starts with SpongeBob coming home, looking out for Sandy to do karate with. He looks around and sees she isn't there, then he sits down on the couch. She then appears shortly after and tries to tackle him. Before SpongeBob starts to get in at it, he runs off and puts on his safety helmet and gloves and says, quote, safety first, and then winks at the camera before charging at Sandy to do some karate. That would clearly be representative of condoms and using safe sex methods. SpongeBob then starts announcing his special moves and techniques, aka sex positions.
Double overhand squirrel knot. I'm gonna get you tomorrow, SpongeBob.
Later that night, SpongeBob calls Sandy to try and do karate again with her, and she says, nice try. This was clearly a stab at a booty call, or as we all know, you call some girls up late night and you're just kind of lonely. This is exactly what that is referencing. Then, the next day, they briefly do some karate that knocks her on the back at the grocery store, which is like having sex in public. And at another point in time, she surprises him for surprise karate on the way to work. This time, she says that the karate will be, quote, long and merciless, which is kind of thinking it's a rougher, kind of a weird kink kind of thing going on. She tries to even pour hot sauce on his tongue, and this could be a play on how some people use hot wax during sex, as some people think that pain heightens their pleasure. It's your own cup of tea, but this could be what they're talking about here. And then on top of that, the hot sauce says this.
By the powers of naughtiness, I command this particular drop of hot sauce to be really, really hot.
Then we see SpongeBob at the Krusty Krab, and he can barely get any work done because all he can think about is karate with Sandy, and he sees her everywhere. It's in his mind, and she even winks at him. She winks right at him. It's like a come here and get some kind of thing. Totally a play on this. It is, and it's totally typical for guys to daydream of sex, especially when you're at work doing nothing, you're bored, you're like washing a table, and you could be thinking about your girlfriend. This is exactly the type of thing that would happen in real life. It gets so bad that Krabs has to tell SpongeBob to cut off the karate or else he's fired. Sandy, however, didn't know this, and she tries to do karate with SpongeBob after work, but he doesn't consent, and it ends up getting him fired. Sandy does tell Mr. Krabs that it was her fault, and he gives SpongeBob another chance as long as they stop all the karate, but then he says this line.
Karate, it's poisoning your mind. Mammals.
Mr. Krabs is clearly making a sexual reference, as crustaceans don't have sex to reproduce. They release eggs and sperm to be fertilized outside the body, whereas mammals have to have sex internally to produce offspring. He's kind of taking a stab. He's like, oh, mammals with all their stupid sex and all this weird.
Bro, I was about to say it's a stretch. But Mr. Krabs saying that, why would he say that about karate?
Karate, quote unquote.
This is
That's
fucked
what
up,
he's
dude.
getting at when he says that. And at this point in the episode, SpongeBob and Sandy decide to go to the park to take their minds off of karate and have a picnic. They both pretend they no longer like karate at all, but both are clearly
fighting a desire to practice karate, aka sex.
Yeah, don't we all?
SpongeBob thinks of doing it right there, but he gets so embarrassed as soon as he says it. But we can see that Sandy's desire to practice karate ends up going through the roof as soon as he sees SpongeBob doing karate-like chops when he starts cutting off the sausage. SpongeBob starts to feel the same, and eventually it reaches a complete breaking point, and the two go absolutely nuts, doing karate all over the park and making a bunch of sandwiches. The camera shakes, and it's clear at this point that they're going at it extremely hard.
Mr. Krabs later is on a stroll through the same park and sees SpongeBob and Sandy together. SpongeBob is being very relaxed in a laid-back position, just as one would be after having sex.
Bro,
He then says out loud he
what
wonders if Mr. Krabs does karate, which is actually pretty funny, and it's a pretty fair question because Krabs is pretty old and it doesn't have a wife anymore. But anyway, that is all the evidence I have. This is clearly an episode of one massive innuendo that you probably never noticed. I know I never did until recently when I started thinking about it.
Bro.
And I'm sure there's plenty more stuff like this hidden in other cartoons and other episodes. In fact, I made a whole video about dirty jokes in cartoons, and you guys can check it out right here if you'd like. There's a link in the end slate and the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please your friends. Let's try for more videos about cartoons. Always out in the comment section below. And I know you guys made it all the way to the end of this 6.5.
Yeah, guys, let me know down below if you think this theory is right. I mean, dude, that's a lot of proof. That makes a lot of sense. So I believe it, honestly. And comment also down below if your parents watched you or let you watch SpongeBob, because a lot of people say they don't. And after seeing this video, I could definitely see why. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.